Hi everybody, welcome back to Law Hero. My name is Jen and this video is about the differences between a solicitor and a barrister. This was a suggested video by one of my followers. It's a question I get a lot and I'm always very surprised that people don't really know the difference between the two, but that's okay. Hopefully this video will help you out. So firstly, well, I'm a solicitor and just a little bit of background. Before I knew about all of this stuff, I really wanted to be a barrister. I really wanted to be an advocate, as in somebody who speaks in court, and I myself didn't know the difference between the two. I think it's kind of confusing in colloquial language that we have the word lawyer, and when we say lawyer we basically mean anybody who practices law. So that could be like an intellectual property attorney. The word attorney is again problematic because an attorney is like a lawyer in the US, whereas they use lawyer as well interchangeably. The word solicitor is used, I think it's only really used in the UK and Ireland, and that basically means a lawyer, but then under the umbrella of lawyer comes barrister, notary, judge. Like all of these are lawyers, so it is quite confusing, I will give you that. But yeah, we're going to only talk about solicitors and barristers in the Irish English sense of it, because this is where those two words and those two functions operate primarily on this planet. In Ireland at least, you all know by now the road you need to take to become a solicitor. You need to complete the FE1s, PPC1, PPC2, traineeship, and then you're entered onto the roll of members of the Law Society of Ireland. For barristers it's kind of similar. There's an entrance exam, there is time spent at the King's Inns, there is time spent deviling, and then you are called to the bar. Normally then with barristers you spend roughly 15 years being a junior counsel, and then you are made senior counsel, and then, you know, senior counsels generally, well, not generally, well, they can charge much more. They're normally the ones who do the speaking in court. The higher courts, like, you know, the High Court, Court of Appeal and Supreme Court, and also you will see those people come judges in the superior court, sorry, not higher courts, superior courts. That's broadly what they are. I will say, if you're somebody on the street, you will hopefully not need a barrister. For your kind of normal like life stuff, like drafting a will, or if you're moving house, or if you're a business person and you need a confidentiality agreement, or you need to set up a business, those kind of day-to-day things are all for solicitors. They're all within solicitors' remit. That's the kind of stuff we study. Whereas a barrister is, well, I mean, there's two broad areas of work which barristers tend to do, and that is, as I said, being advocates in court settings, although solicitors have a right of court as well. It's not generally utilised in Ireland. Normally the barrister is the one that does the talking in court. So yeah, so for barristers it's advocacy. They often draft some litigation documents like writs, or you know, summons, or affidavits, or notices, motions, and they will also draft counsel opinion. So a counsel opinion is sometimes utilised when, we'll say, let me give you an example. We'll say you have a boundary dispute with your neighbour. Both of you are kind of disputing what the right of way is, what the historical right of way is. You have maps and stuff, but both of you fundamentally disagree on what the right of way should be. You go to a solicitor, and a solicitor will give you their opinion. They'll say, look, I don't think you have a case here. I think if you want to solve this issue, you're going to have to go to court and have it adjudicated on. And if you don't like that opinion, or if you still want a second opinion, sometimes what you'll do is present the case to a barrister who has litigation experience in that area, as in that barrister has years of experience disputing rights of way in court and will be able to tell you by way of counsel opinion. It's called COUNSEL, they're called counsel opinion, and they will tell you what are your chances of succeeding. So that's kind of the role of solicitor and barrister in Ireland broadly. That was helpful. I think personally I'm very happy I chose to become a solicitor. I think it was the right route for me. There is also, you know, there's some things people won't tell you, and thankfully I was told straight out that you need a lot of connections to be a barrister. Now some barristers would refute that, but I do think it helps much more in the barrister profession to have connections, because a lot of the work is based on word of mouth, whereas as a solicitor I feel you can carve your career you have much more scope to carve your own career without any connections. I feel that's just my opinion. And this is from knowing barristers of my age, is the financial implications and the financial hit a lot of young barristers have to take. You hear of young barristers having to work 2 jobs because they're waiting to get paid, whereas normally as a solicitor you're salaried. So it's just a little bit more secure financially. But then of course the upside to being a barrister is if you win a case there's a big payout. So it kind of comes in swings and roundabouts. I personally prefer the safety and security that comes with a salary, because I have to pay rent in Dublin. So yeah, and I don't want to work 2 jobs either. So that's just me. But again, I think if you are incredibly driven and determined to be an advocate, and that is what you want to do with your life, then by all means go for it. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please stay tuned for the next one, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow me on @LawHeroIRL on Instagram, and check out my website lawhero.eu.